Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, so what am I doing in front of RSC at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday? They're not even open today. Well, I came to Tokyo Station to do an AD rush. I'm going to hit as many ADs as I can today and see what we can find. This is an Omega-sponsored 2020 Tokyo Olympic countdown clock. All right, guys, this is Daimaru. This is our first stop, and as you can see, people are lined up for it to open, to hit the AD. These are all Rolex lovers here. Okay, so that was Daimaru, and no steel sports pieces. They had like two 36 millimeter oyster braceleted smooth dialed Datejust and a silver dial 369, and then they had a couple of oyster perpetuals. I think those were 36 millimeters, and that was it. Yellow gold day date. Check out the dial. I think that's a beautiful dial. They have a red version as well. Not crazy about the leather strap though. Now, what's cool about this Cellini is the moon. The moon is actually a little piece of meteorite. It's a piece of space. How cool is that? All right, so that was Mitsukoshi, and all right, so they had a bunch of two-tones, and you'll see the two that I tried on, which are really not my style, but I think beautiful watches. Now, I asked about the hot models, and from November, they have a new rule. If you don't live in Japan, you can't get these models. So they have a list of these desired models. So if you go in and you ask them for, say, a BLNR, they're going to ask you if you live in Japan. And if you do, and you can prove it with, what's called a Gaikokujin Torokusho, a Gaikokujin card, then if they have one in the back, you might get it. They might sell it to you. But if you don't and you're a tourist, then they're not going to sell you these hot models anymore. So they seem to be wanting to protect people living in Japan. So this is kind of an interesting aspect.
I'm trying to swag a brochure as well.
Okay, so this is the third place, Takashi Maya, and of course, no professional models. Now, I asked, and they said that because of this rule, what they'll do is they will actually put them out. Now, I was under the impression they might keep these BLNRs and Daytonas and GMTs and Explorers in the back and then check. But according to what this woman was saying, that they would put them out, but then check your ID when you get one. So that's gonna cause a lot of friction. Can you imagine a tourist walking in thinking they've hit the jackpot with a BLNR and then being asked for their ID? Oh, that's going to get ugly. So that's what she said, but will some of them stay in the back and be brought out only when they are requested? My guess is that's going to be the way to go, because otherwise you're going to have tourists throwing mad fits in Rolex ADs across Tokyo. So You'll see what I tried on here. Nice blue dial. It's a nice blue dial, but I've seen prettier shades of blue. I think they could do better. I think they could make it pop like a bluesy. Now, I tend to prefer a Jubilee bracelet and a fluted bezel on my Datejusts, but this is not bad. All right, another blue dial Datejust. Now, this is getting closer to what I like with the Jubilee bracelet. Now, when it comes to the dial color, you kind of want to go conservative when it comes to a Datejust. So yeah, I don't think the poppiness of a bluesy dial would really work with it. Okay, so here we are in Ginza, and a little bit more information. So you can't buy the same watch in a period of 5 years. So if you buy a Pepsi, you have to wait 5 years before you get another Pepsi. But you can get, say, a BLNR after 1 year. And there are 12 models that have this restriction. and the restriction for people living only in Japan. Now, interestingly enough, there are 3 steel watches that fall outside it, and that's the Milgauss, the Yachtmaster, and the Air King, which I guess says something about the popularity of those models. They're not quite on the same level as the GMT, the Sub, the Sky Dweller, the Sea Dweller, the Deep Sea, and the Explorer and the Explorer 2. All right, so at the Rolex boutique in Lexia, which is in Ginza, and apparently when they put these hot models out, how long does it take them to sell? Well, according to the staff, 3 to 5 minutes. 3 to 5 minutes and one of these hot models is gone. Now, one of the staff in the store had on a 2-tone diamond dial oyster quartz. How cool is that? I mean, that's a really vintage watch. For a person working at an AD to wear. I've never seen anything like that. That was kind of cool. And what did I try on? Well, the steel watches were few and far between. There was a 34 millimeter oyster date, and there was a white dial, Buckley dial, date just, 36 millimeter, and then there was this. Now, apparently this is a men's watch, and while it's not my style, I'm glad I tried it on because I found out something kind of cool about it. Now, when it comes to reading the time, it can be an issue, but there's placements of the flowers that give you a reading. You know, one of the flowers is exactly at 1, another is exactly at 2, another is exactly at 4 and 5, so on. I thought that was kind of a cool aspect of it. All right, random chairs and tables in the street of Ginza. Kind of cool. Unexplainable, but hey, why not? All right, so shop number 6, and I think they had probably 3 36 millimeter watches total, aside from the ones with like diamonds around the bezel. And you know, one was a white Buckley dialed 36 millimeter date just, like at that last shop. And then the only other thing that I think I would be interested in was this Oyster Perpetual. The white grape. Now, I wouldn't want this as an only watch, but if you love different dial colors, this could be nice. All right, guys, let's pop in here and see if those Olympic 2020 Speedmasters are all for sale. They're all available except for the Panda. Will we find one by the end of the video? The 3 models that are non-existent at the Tudor shops are the GMT, the 58, and the P01. Totally different vibe at the Tudor shop. They're definitely going for the young people. Behold, all 5 of the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Speedmasters, including what you're looking at right there, the Panda. And according to shop staff, it's popular because it looks like a Daytona. Oh, there's one catch. You can't buy that one. You can buy the other 4, but not the Panda. All right, so ISA 10 went to the AD, and what did they have? They had that same 36 millimeter white Buckley dialed date just. That's the 3rd time I've seen that. So I guess that's not the dial style to have. Personally, I think the blue one is the one to have when it comes to that new 36 millimeter date just. And that was all that they had as far as steel goes. There might have been a few perpetuals there, but maybe not. As far as what I tried on, well, something that I probably could never afford, and even if I could, I don't know if I would get them, but these. Now, if you're going to go with a diamond dial date just, then go with the baguette diamonds and a little piece of space, one of those meteorite dials. Now, the one on the left is all gold. The one on the right is platinum with about a 30,000 USD price difference. Now, this is a sight for sore eyes, a vintage piece, a GMT 16710 pre-ceramic, exactly what I was wearing. Now, look at the price tag on that. Is that because it has the 3186 movement? It's a Z serial, right? No, it's just got a stick dial. All right, so seeing it in the flesh, did it change my opinion of the Godzilla? Not really, but check this out. Hey, welcome to fall and a 900-piece limited edition celebration of fall. Look at that. I don't know if I love it or hate it, but it's kind of beautiful. And you got those fall colors on the dial, and then if you turn it around back, you've got sort of an ode to pre-fall leaves with that rotor. Kind of interesting. I mean, 900 piece limited edition running for about $7 grand. Not bad. All right, AD number 8. We're in Shinjuku, and now they had what did they have? They had a handful of Oyster Perpetuals, and then what appears to be the ubiquitous 36 millimeter white Buckley dial Datejust. They had 2 there, one on the Jubilee bracelet and another on the Oyster bracelet. And, no other steel pieces. And, when it comes to buying a watch here, you register, and then within a month, your warranty card will come with your name on it. And that's the way it's done here. So it's not like you sign the card anymore. It's printed, and it'll come to you in the mail. So it's not like you could come directly from a place like this and go directly to, say, Ueno or one of those other places with a ton of pre-owned shops and immediately flip your watch. I mean, you could, but without that warranty, you're going to get less for it. So probably have to hang on to your watch for a month if you actually are looking to flip it. I'm not much of a day date kind of guy, but I saw a beautiful day date here. I tried it on, and it's the dial. It's all about the dial. Check it out. A unique and beautiful red dial, but I really think you got to be careful with colors like this. They can get kind of cloying after a while. All right, AD number 9. They had 2 36 millimeter Oyster Perpetuals, the 2 wine colors, the white grape or the wine colors, I don't know, but the white grape and the red grape, and the Chardonnay in the red. And then they had, I want to say, 3 or 5 Datejusts. These were 36 millimeter steel Datejusts, all of them with the smooth bezel. And one was a blue dial, one was a gray dial. Both of those had Jubilee bracelets. And of course the ubiquitous white Buckley dial, which was on it was on an Oyster smooth dial. So, again, it looks like 36 millimeter Datejusts, 36 millimeter Oyster Perpetuals. You can probably find the dial color you want. I don't think I've seen a Oyster Perpetual 36 millimeter in blue while we've been, walking around, but I'm pretty sure they could order it. And of course, not even a sign of a sub or GMT. I mean, I've stopped asking. It's not even worth bringing it up. So, all right, on to the final one, number 10. Will we find anything? All right, AD number 10. And what did they have? A single steel piece in the entire store. It was a 36 millimeter black dial Datejust. It had a smooth bezel and an Oyster bracelet, and you can see it here. Beautiful watch, beautiful charcoal dial, but after seeing this in various iterations throughout the day, it's just made me kind of tired of it. Now, right next door was Grand Seiko when we stopped by and we saw this. This is what the saleswoman called the Snowflake. It must be the new Snowflake because it's different than the old Snowflake. I kind of like the old one. Now, it's kind of funny because the woman at the Grand Seiko store pegged us as Rolex guys, and right after she did that, I looked on her wrist, and she was wearing a Rolex Datejust ladies, so that was kind of funny. We pointed it out. All 3 of us were Rolex people looking at Grand Seikos. All right, there you go. Thanks for watching. What do I want you to take away from this video? Well, I think the biggest thing is the implementation this past November of the rule that states only people living in Japan who can prove it can buy these top 12 steel professional Rolex models. And sometimes I have people write to me and they say, hey, if I come to Tokyo and I search around, could I get lucky? Well, if you do get lucky, you're not going to be able to walk out of the store with one of those models. And if you are living in Japan and you happen to get one of those models, you can't get the same model within 5 years. In fact, you can't get another one of those top 12 for another year. And also interesting are the professional models that for some reason didn't make the cut. Maybe they just aren't as flippable as the other ones, but it's the Yachtmaster, the Milgauss, and the Air King. And coincidentally, all of those have special colored second hands. Does that have anything to do with it? Not really, but I thought that was kind of interesting. Other things of note, well, when you go to these ADs, at most you'll see probably 5, at the very most, of these 36 millimeter steel OPs and date justs. And, when it comes to these shops, they'll tell you one thing, but then it works another way. And what they'll say is that they put things out, and if you get lucky, you get lucky. But let's be real about it. That's not the case. And I know this. Well, I've got my sources, but they're really afraid of me talking about it, okay? So I have to speak in real generalities here, but basically the way it works here, you have to buy what's out, and then once you do that, then you can have access to this stuff behind the scenes. And, I think it depends on where you're shopping. If you go to Ginza, if I go to Ginza and I buy one, say, two-tone piece, that's not much for Ginza. I mean, the people going to Ginza's real high-end. I mean, we saw a couple Ferraris in Ginza, and we saw a Lamborghini in Ginza. Those people aren't buying single date just. They're buying these, a couple of solid precious metal watches, and those are going to be the guys that get access to these models. But if you go sort of off the beaten path, and then you plunk down for something like a two-tone date just, or an all-steel Oyster Perpetual, maybe you can have access to those pieces. Now, do they put some out every now and then? I'm sure they do, but I really think, from what I've heard, they look after people that buy what's in the case. And another thing that I walked away with was the vibe that I got from these places. There were a few that I thought, I got a good vibe from the person there. I think I could go, and I think I could develop a relationship. Would I still have to buy something in the case? I really think I would, yes. But I think if I did, it might work. Am I going to go that route? Absolutely not. But I had just a feeling that there was some chemistry there. Whereas other places, it was a coldness. I think I could just spend money hand over fist on two-tone pieces, and I always think I would just get denied any access to these top 12 models. Just a feeling, but I think you can go on your gut a lot of time when it comes to stuff like that. There you go. Hey, thanks for watching, and take care. Let me know what you think about this. See you next time.